Carson asking, you have a daughter who's a really good-looking chick. Well, you may be able to change her life and improve your financial status. Because Prince Andrew is looking for a new girlfriend. Just drop a photo of your little nightlight in a self-addressed stamped envelope and mail to Royal Affair, Buckingham Palace.
Here, Nygard is in the athletes' village at the 2012 Olympics.
But just to be here Olympics and to be running, good for you. That's just, and at 16 yet.
He finds out during this conversation that she is 16 years old.
Can I feed you a cell number or something? Yeah. 2 phone numbers. I don't want to lose her now that I found her.
Pushing them off me. 2 months later, I'm pregnant. Pete, I'm pregnant. So what do you want to do? I want to have my baby. Well, what about your career? I was fighting to have my baby. I wanted to have my baby so bad. And Peter made me these promises. I'll take care. Once you have the boy, you're going to have a career. And then you have a baby. I look so good. You know, I look like a lion. You know how I look so young. It's the blood. It's the blood of the blood of the babies. Everybody gives me their blood.
Thought Serena was on our side because she danced with Kendrick at the Super Bowl. Why are they so quiet about Peter Nygard?
That instead of going to jail, Sulin Menderos ended up becoming wife of Hollywood plastic surgeon Dr. Garth Fisher. And not just any Hollywood plastic surgeon, the Kardashians' plastic surgeon. I often wonder if Hollywood is using stem cell treatments, where did they get the stem cells? Who got Peter Nygard's invention?
Hundreds of people that enabled, helped, and knew about this scheme.
No one liked him. 72 teddy bears on his bed. The maids have to put them back exactly like it's in that picture. If they don't, he shouts and screams.
Because he's not fit for purpose. He's not fit for man nor beast. He should be told directly, off you pop.
He's a dirty old bastard. With a serious attitude problem.
But I absolutely know in my heart that it's not true.
I was really pissed. I was really pissed because he lied to me about it.
Show you how much of kind of perverted, like having 40 girls and then it's the under girls, it's the massive concern. Too much money, too much power. They don't know where they can get that next thrill, and you'll tend to see that's when they do the dark stuff.
Was Prince Andrew. A guy wearing a uniform entered the room with 2 little children. You are there to witness the fear in these children's eyes. So I'm still traumatized by this.
And the ultimate downfall is yet to come.
Hi everybody. This isn't part of the show. It's been 4 days now. I've been trying to get this to you. I've had one of the worst few months of my life. But CapCut has messed around with it. I've had 4 copyrights. I've tried to upload for 4 days. It won't take it. It's too big, blah, blah. So I'm hoping and praying that this will be it. And if anything's amiss in it, it is not me. But yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys that so that you know what's going on. Yeah, other than that, thank you so much for being here. You'll see my face soon, and I'll just let you watch the show as it should be. And stick around. You will not be disappointed. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to ACO. My name is Lara, and I thank you for being here. I had no idea that my last video was going to cause this much of a kerfuffle. I'm like shocked. I thank all my new subscribers and of course my OGers and everybody in between. You're part of my ACO family and I love you for that. Okay, here's the deal. It takes me a very long time to put a show like this together. It does, but I always come back and I might post every night. I have memes and updates and everything, and that's how I connect. If you're ever wondering what's going on, go to my posts. Anyway, the last one, I wasn't sure if I'd even do this because, of course, it was demonetized and this is how I earn a living. But I thought a lot about it and I decided that this particular truth needs to be out. So I'm taking one for the team. This one's packed. It's going to have a lot of footage. All the stuff that was in the beginning, we are going to address in this one. We're going to listen to some victims and what they went through. So if anyone does have triggers, I would suggest just to go to a different video. This one's not for you. It's going to be graphic. So what I want to do is say thank you to my Patreons, because without you guys, I wouldn't even be here. And that's the truth. I wouldn't be able to. So thank you. I'm here to show patterns. I'm about common sense. In a court of law, you have circumstantial evidence. And I'm big on that because the people that we're dealing with here, not just royals, but any elite, everything is secret. Everything's hidden. Everything's sealed. So we have to go by what they tell us, right? What they're telling us, and we have to hear it and listen, and because they are telling us. And I understand some of this subject matter is going to be very difficult to even process. I get that. And I'm here to bring the darkness to light, to kill it. Let's kill the darkness. That being said, I do my stuff in chapter form. At the end of each chapter, I have what I call commercials. Those are parodies and skits and funny things online because I have far surpassed Looneyville and I am now on the way to Crazy Town. So if y'all want to jump on board, feel free. That's why we need to laugh. Otherwise, I will go locomotion. So we're not having that. Now, we're going to do this without JE and VG, 100%. We are going to see who Andrew is and why the RF are wanting to separate now, because a storm's a brewing and it's going to come. And I think he's going to do a runner. That's what I think. But that's just me. I hope you guys stick with me till the end. Okay. Let's just get on with it. All right, my friends. Chapter 1. Classes in session. Sarcasm and Snark 101. Professor Lara here, because regardless of the topic, there will be sarcasm and snark. And I'm going to let y'all know it gets worse. Every chapter I'm going to go down is going to get worse. So, employees reveal the awful truth. Fergie anchored to a sinking ship. And who's John Bryan really? You're going to be shocked. So there's more shocking claims recorded and the graphic truth about Harold's scandals. Because yes, I'm going there too. So first, I want to show you why I'm doing this. Why I'm doing it without JE and VG.
It should never happened until he's been proven guilty. At the end of the day, this is just typical media, isn't it? Excuse that.
Yeah.
But just
I'm a bit concerned for him because I think it's like death by 1,000 cuts. And you got to think, what's the toll on him and the impact on his health? And then what if something terrible happened and we'd all go, oh, we just harassed the guy to his grave. So, I kind of feel like the press and the papers are really going over the top.
Yeah, I would never strip Andrew of his title. So it's not for me to judge or condemn anyone.
and that's myself.
Do you think he should be kicked out of the Royal Lodge?
No. No, I don't know all these facts, and so who am I to judge? Do you know what? I mean, I'm not that concerned about what's gone on. He's settled out of court. I mean, you know, I don't know. I'm in the middle.
Prince Andrew is his brother, so he could have done a bit more, less harshly in a way, not made it public in a way, kept it a bit private between them. That would have been better, I think.
So why are they stripping the titles now? Really, why now, right? Well, maybe it's because there was still a controllable backlash to manage. Basically, the palace acts when reputational and legal risks cross a line. So there's settlements, relentless press discovery, and the sustained visibility of Andrew's associations likely made continued roles untenable. Institutions rarely amputate a limb unless they've already felt the gangrene. Now, the elite overlap is real. The same circles, events, and venues repeatedly place powerful people together. Royals, politicians, billionaires, and moguls. That overlap is documented even when criminal liability is not. Because how many royals go to court? Really? Or big people, they just pay everybody off, right? However, in this show, multiple credible investigations describe nygard's parties as recruitment zones for vulnerable young women. Andrew's visits to Nygard Key are part of that proximity map. Proximity doesn't equal guilt, but it does show reoccurring choices about who he spent time with and where. So you know me. If it doesn't make sense, it's nonsense. When you keep landing in rooms built by predators, the room becomes the receipt. Right? So before we get into anything, I needed to show you an actual receipt. I have been saying this for years, right? About injunctions, about how the British press especially are requested not to say anything about the royal family's faux pas, let's just say, right? And now we have proof of this. This is not for us to see, but it got out. Background briefing for members of the media. Note, this document is strictly not to be shared, copied, or released in any form outside your own media organizations. Strictly background briefing, not for direct quoting. Given the circumstances, Royal Communications requests media organizations and all those acting on their behalf to demonstrate restraint in seeking to acquire words or images of members of the royal family, and particularly those affected. With thanks for your cooperation and understanding. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. That needs to be said first and foremost as we go forward, so that you understand exactly why these people think the way they do. Absolutely. The public and the royals. The royals have been protected their entire existence. There are people out there, and they're growing daily, by the way, that believe that Andrew's getting shortchanged, that he is the scapegoat, da-da-da-da. Crazy thing is, in this particular instance with JE and VG, I agree. Where's the other people? How come they're not in jail? This is where Andrew should be as well. But that's why I'm taking them out of this equation. I'm the only person I have ever seen do this. I'm serious. I have covered this before, Patreon and on YouTube, but I'm going further now. I'm going to put it all together. This is going to be like my first little documentary type thing, but I want it all out there because I'm not going to do it again. My payment is for everybody to share the hell out of this video. Okay? And I'm going to go slower, as in not as horrendous stuff, although it's still horrendous. I want this video to stay up. It won't get pushed. I'm leaving that up to you. My lovely Yako family, because it needs to be done and somebody has to do it, and I guess it's me. So I'm not that interested in Fergie per se. Really, I'm not. She's a complete write-off to me. However, I am interested in what she has to say about Andrew. I put together a little compilation of what she's said throughout the years. And the beginning is about how self-entitled these two are. What they really think. So we're going to see that. And then we're going to continue. Oh, yes. So let's check that out.
Disgraced Andrew Windsor is spending his last weeks at Royal Lodge ranting to himself as ex-wife and fellow resident Sarah Ferguson pours out her heart to staff at a secret bar called the Doghouse.
Fergie and Andrew, and I include Fergie in this because they both think it will all go away. But they cannot think that anymore. But they are just sitting tight, imagining this horrible scandal will just go away, like scandals have a habit of doing. But I'm with you, Matt, on this. I don't think this is going to go away at all.
He's probably got loads of friends in the Middle East or the Far East. He could go and have a lovely life playing golf.
Like Juan Carlos went.
If I was him, I'd go and live somewhere else. I'd say, well, I'm not wanted anymore. It's fairly obvious I've got no future here. Start a new life.
Yeah.
While you can.
While you can.
Don't try and trick me now because I'm not going to play this game. Delete that bit. John, knowing him as I know him, and he's one of the greatest men I've ever met in my life, and my best friend, and great father to my children. I just thought, I don't understand in this day and age how people can make salacious lies up, and how the media actually then write about it, and then follow on with it, because I just don't understand. This is defamation of character of a person that is the opposite to how he's being portrayed. So Buckingham Palace put out a denial, and
on his behalf,
and that's how it works within the royal family, and they stand by that denial. There's nothing more to be said, and I think it is just shockingly accusatory lies, which I won't stand by and let anybody believe, or I just have to shut it down right now.
Was it hurt, your first reaction, or anger?
Total fury.
Total fury.
Yes, because we are such a family unit, and you know yourself, Meredith, I think you've interviewed me many times on whatever else they've written about me. So I know what it's like to have this about you and not be able to say, I never did it, I didn't do that, I didn't do this, because then everyone goes, oh yeah, really? So the truth is, I want to say it on his behalf, and I want for the Beatrice and Eugenie are 26 and 24, and they're beautiful, courageous children. Can you imagine what they've seen with their mother, having gone through negativity in the press, now their father, back off. We are a really solid, beautiful family, and that's really it.
So what are you saying in the confines of your home, the four of you?
That we will not be defeated, we are impenetrable, and that we will show by success.
He's such a good man. He's a kind, good man. And I think the spotlight needs to come off him and let him get on with his life to rebuild.
Okay.
For the sake of your daughter.
We must mention...
And grandchildren. He's a very good He's a very good grandfather.
Now no one needs courtesy or call him your Royal Highness. With his titles gone, except as a pound shop prince, he is finished. A dull, dim, plump, pompous, long-retired naval officer. The same goes for Fergie. Once the Duchess of York, she could cling to the respect of being tied to the royal family. Now she is plain Sarah Ferguson, the grifter, flogging diets, sandwiches, and access to the firm.
Wow. Fergie is the ultimate liar. Her and Rochelle should be great pals. Really, they should be. And I'm not even going to get into all of Fergie's, her little disasters here and there and everywhere, just because we already know them and she's not my focus. But what is a part of my focus is how they were at the lodge. How are they behind closed doors? Let's see what people have to say. And I think you know where I'm going with this one.
Based at Buckingham Palace from 1998 till 2004, and my role was to protect the Queen, Prince Philip and Prince Andrew. They were the ones that lived at Buckingham Palace at that time.
So what was your first impression of Prince Andrew?
He was very obnoxious, an angry individual, and the way he used to treat police officers, members of the royal household, the waiting staff, the maids, the footmen. The maids come forward and explained that once he got her to come up 4 flights of stairs to open his curtains when he was sat right next to him. He's a very self-entitled person, I mean, more so than any member of the royal family. He stuck out like a sore thumb. No one liked him. He was the only member of the royal family to breach the security protocol when it comes to guests entering the palace. And it happened a lot with young women. We were not told their names, we were told not to ask the names. They would present themselves at the palace, they're here to see Prince Andrew, and we would just have to let them in.
Always had a sense of entitlement. He's always been convinced by his royalness.
And beside him, Sarah Ferguson, the fiery duchess who could charm a crowd one moment and leave her staff in tears the next. For years, the public saw smiles, charity work, and polite waves from the balcony. But behind closed doors, a crumbling fairy tale built on control, chaos, and secrets no royal biography dared to print.
Sarah Ferguson is as bad as Andrew. She's greedy, she's entitled.
On this occasion, he was stationed at Buckingham Palace when he could hear really, really loud shouting. He recognised the voice to be Prince Andrew's, and basically he wasn't sure who was in there, that they were really stupid. How could they make a mistake like this? What the hell were they doing? Did they not know anything? Yeah, it was pretty nasty. When she came out, he could see that she was a royal maid and she was trying not to cry, but he could see her eyes were really red, and he actually said to her, "Is there anything I can do?" Kind of like whispered it to her, and she just shook her head. And then a couple of minutes later, Prince Andrew came out of the room and he looked thunderous, angry, and he bounced past, no acknowledgement to my friend who was standing there. So you can kind of get the picture of what he was or how he acted to us mortals. The maid had tidied Prince Andrew's teddies away in the wrong order. And that is what he had kicked off about, because he was fanatical about, had to be a certain way, certain position, blah, 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 blah. He then went on to take a picture of his bedroom with the teddies, and he would have it beside them so that any maid or anybody that went into his room knew exactly how they should be positioned. That poor maid did not deserve to be shouted out like that. There are ways of communicating with people, and Prince Andrew just doesn't seem to have a clue, or he doesn't give a. What do you think?
On this particular occasion, went into Prince Andrew's bedroom, and on his bed was, I now know was 72, I said about 50, but I maid confirmed it was 72 because she had to count them. 72 teddy bears on his bed. And just thinking, all right, okay. And then my inspector showed me a laminated card with a picture of these teddy bears, all in situ. And he said the reason for that picture is that the maids have to put them back exactly like it's in that picture. He said if they don't, he shouts and screams. And okay. And then my inspector showed me a laminated card with a picture of these teddy bears, all in situ. And he said the reason for that picture is that the maids have to put them back exactly like it's in that picture. He said if they don't, he shouts and screams and abuses them. So, you know, that's not really the actions of a sort of a nice person, you know, to have people having to do that. Andrew was totally different. He could fly off the handle at the smallest thing. For example, if the officer's on the gate, because sometimes they're dealing with things, they're dealing with guests, and he suddenly turns up. Usually we get a notice from his protection officer in the car that who's with him. Sometimes it'd be a case of we haven't got the gates open quick enough. So if he has to slow down for a small minute, he'll shout out the window, "You effing buffoons," you know, and stuff like that. So there was no leeway. We made numerous complaints regarding his attitude, because we're there to protect him and the staff are there to look after him. In the old system, it's not like if you worked in an office and you swore at someone, they'd be dealt with. In the palace, it's totally different. People are too frightened to take the complaints higher up the chain. We used to break the rules for him in order to have an easy life, if you want to call it that. So, for example, after 5 o'clock, when the working palace closed down, his private guests would turn up. We were not privy to the names of the women turning up. So basically that would mean we were letting people in, we didn't really know who they were.
I don't suppose any of that was shocking whatsoever. But I have some...
Any member of the royal family to breach the security protocol when it comes to guests entering the palace. And it happened a lot with young women. We were not told their names, we were told not to ask the names. They would present themselves at the palace, they're here to see Prince Andrew, and we just have to let them in.
Always always had these sense of entitlement. He's always been convinced by his royalness.
And beside him, Sarah Ferguson, the fiery duchess who could charm a crowd one moment and leave her staff in tears the next. For years, the public saw smiles, charity work, and polite waves from the balcony. But behind closed doors, a crumbling fairy tale built on control, chaos, and secrets no royal biography dared to print.
Sarah Ferguson is as bad as Andrew. She's greedy, she's entitled.
On this occasion, he was stationed at Buckingham Palace when he could hear really, really loud shouting. He recognised the voice to be Prince Andrew's, and basically he was telling, he wasn't sure who was in there, that they were really stupid. How could they make a mistake like this? What the hell were they doing? Did they not know anything? Yeah, it was pretty nasty. When she came out, he could see that she was a royal maid and she was trying not to cry, but he could see her eyes were really red, and he actually said to her, "Is there anything I can do?" Kind of like whispered it to her, and she just shook her head. And then a couple of minutes later, Prince Andrew came out of the room and he looked thunderous, angry, and he bounced past, no acknowledgement to my friend who was standing there. So you can kind of get the picture of what he was or how he acted to us mortals. The maid had tidied Prince Andrew's teddies away in the wrong order. And that is what he had kicked off about, because he was fanatical about, had to be a certain way, certain position, blah, 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 blah. He then went on to take a picture of his bedroom with the teddies, and he would have it beside them so that any maid or anybody that went into his room knew exactly how they should be positioned. That poor maid did not deserve to be shouted out like that. There are ways of communicating with people, and Prince Andrew just doesn't seem to have a clue, or he doesn't give a. What do you think?
On this particular occasion, went into Prince Andrew's bedroom, and on his bed was, I now know was 72, I said about 50, but I maid confirmed it was 72 because she had to count them. 72 teddy bears on his bed. And just thinking, all right, okay. And then my inspector showed me a laminated card with a picture of these teddy bears, all in situ. And he said the reason for that picture is that the maids have to put them back exactly like it's in that picture. He said if they don't, he shouts and screams and abuses them. So, you know, that's not really the actions of a sort of a nice person, you know, to have people having to do that. Andrew was totally different. He could fly off the handle at the smallest thing. For example, if the officer's on the gate, because sometimes they're dealing with things, they're dealing with guests, and he suddenly turns up. Usually we get a notice from his protection officer in the car that who's with him. Sometimes it'd be a case of we haven't got the gates open quick enough. So if he has to slow down for a small minute, he'll shout out the window, "You effing buffoons," you know, and stuff like that. So there was no leeway. We made numerous complaints regarding his attitude, because we're there to protect him and the staff are there to look after him.
Comments about the bear situation, so I'm going to read them out for you. Trophies. Me thinking it was when he was a kid and realizing this guy ain't old enough to have been security for him that long ago. Trophies from his victims. What in the world? For the kids, isn't it? There's a dark story behind those, unfortunately. Clearly symbolize something horrible, not hard to figure out. They are trophies. Teddy bears is code. Very disturbing. Makes sense. They're trophies to symbolize his victims, one for each one in the order he abused them. A teddy bear for every kid. He's a sick puppy. 72 victims. Self-entitled is usually how people describe those who abuse others for their own pleasure. Hint, hint. Each bear is for each kid he's touched. What do you think? I don't think that they're wrong. And that's just truly, that's how bad this guy is. I'm not kidding. I've brought this up before, and I know it's very controversial to some of you, but I'm still going to put it on. And that's how he treated Eugenie at the funeral of the Queen.
powerful men shouldn't be allowed to commit sex crimes and get away with it.
I know what people are going to say. He was comforting his daughter. Well, I can tell you 100%, my husband has never comforted any of my daughters that way. And if that's the case, what about Beatrice? You can see these photos. I said, people say it's just him comforting his daughter. Doesn't he have two? I feel bad for her. And there she is on the bottom by herself. By herself. So no, I don't think so. Not only that, I think I know why Beatrice stays away from him as much as possible. I'm not kidding. But we will get there. But I just needed you to know that this person, if he is going to hurt another child, he's going to hurt his own too. That's usually how it goes. I guess I'm not quite done with Fergie yet. I had a Patreon just tell me about this. And I didn't realize that Fergie brought Eugenie to a Diddy party. Look at Fergie, all the grinning and everything. Look at Eugenie's face. She does not look like a happy camper. What was she doing? I'm telling you, these parents, both of them, have used these girls. Absolutely. Disgusting. So, that being said, we're going to get on with the show. But since I had to redo a lot of this, I thought I would put this in. There's also a tiny little piece of a clip that talks about the dirty old uncle that goes to these parties. And of course, that would be Andrew.
I don't think anybody really wants to talk about the fact that the royal family had many times at Ditty Party, especially that weirdo uncle.
So I'm going to jump really quick into a couple of Harold scandals. It won't take long, but I just thought it would be good to show this bears seem to be repeating history in a lot of ways. And there is something I want to clear up about Harold. And I'm going to read to you something pretty horrible. So stick with me. It's going to be horrible through the whole thing. This is literally the least of it. So strap in. Harold, you son of a bitch. So this is going to be short and not too sweet. But it's going to show you very graphically what is going on at Africa Parks and what Harold is ignoring. So it says the organization is facing fresh accusations that rangers used horrific torture techniques. Former Zambian African Parks Ranger Forrest Kalunga detailed the torture method he called Kampelwa or swing in extracts quoted in UK newspaper The Times. Sometimes we use Kampelwa, said Kalunga, a ranger in Luwa Plain National Park, for 5 years until 2022. Then you tie someone up, hands and feet tied together behind his back, and you hang him on a stick between two branches. Sorry, I'm sure that took you back a bit, this photo. It goes on. And then you spin him around while you hit him. It doesn't last long because it hurts a lot. When he hangs there, he says everything you want, even things he doesn't know. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Seriously. It's disgusting enough by itself. Right? I think so. I truly do. So I'm going to get into one more thing that he does, that we know of. And then I'm going to wrap him up because he is not the focus of this. But he is a spare and he needs to be outed for what he is as well. I'm sure the majority of you know this, but for anybody who doesn't, right? This is a blind item, but it's true. This blind item involves a famous guy from a prominent family. He's been in the news a lot lately. We have a story to tell you that may impact what you think of him. Years ago, when he was in the military, he used to go off base with his buddies when they had a night off. Although they regularly drank to excess, it's not his alcohol consumption that caused the local police to intervene in his bad behavior. What stories did they tell? They all described him being drunk and how his conduct always turned violent, punching, slapping, choking, hair pulling, etc. It was violent enough that the girls thought that he would permanently hurt them. They were genuinely frightened of him. You see, our boy used to hire local workers to service his needs, his carnal needs. These sessions inevitably got rough. He was very physically rough, so rough that the frightened workers had to call the police. Granted, these were ex-workers, but that doesn't matter, right? It doesn't. There's no perfect victim out there. And traditionally, not the most reliable witnesses, but this happened multiple times, and their stories were very consistent. How did the local police handle it? Normally, when something like this happens off base, the offender would be arrested, right? And then the local police and the military would determine whose jurisdiction it fell under. Then the case would work its way through either the civilian judicial system or the military judicial system. Is that what happened here? No. Because of his family, none of that ever happened. The girls would be treated for their injuries, and he would just get sent back to base. No arrests, no attorneys, nothing. He was strictly off limits, and neither judicial system would pursue the case. That's disgusting. That makes me sick. Now, the reason I even bring this up at all, to be honest, is because there's accusations, of course, out there of him and children. And I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I haven't found anything. I haven't. But you know what? Complicity. When you're complicit in the silence of this kind of thing, as in not getting to the proper authorities, is it not getting... These people are not getting any kind of justice. He's very inappropriate with a lot of things. Nipples for some reason. But I cannot, in all consciousness, say that he does that because I do not know. And that's what I'll say about Harold. Let's go on. I saw this and I actually laughed out loud. Harold suffers another blow. Prick Andrew will continue receiving protection despite being stripped of all titles after exiled royals' nasty security battle. That's hilarious. So we're going to end this chapter. And yes, these are longer chapters. I'll give extra commercials. We'll need them. With John Bryan. He's an important part of this little scene here, and I think you'll be mighty surprised at what's to come. So, let's get into that. Get your popcorn or your sick bucket or whatever you got to do, because it's coming.
Has been a close confidant to the British royal family for a long time. He worked for Queen Elizabeth II, was, quote, best friends with Princess Diana, and had a long-term intimate relationship with the Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson. According to Bryan, he practically raised Sarah Ferguson's children, the princesses Beatrice and Eugene. And Bryan said that he maintained a friendship with Ferguson's husband, the Duke of York, Prince Andrew.
Tell me like your story.
So my story, you want to know my story?
What?
Like I've been so famous at times when I was on the front page of every newspaper because I was working with the Queen of England.
Okay.
You know, she's Queen Elizabeth. I was working along families, Princess Diana, one of my best friends. And I met Duchess of New York.
Okay.
That's Prince Andrew's wife. They were separated. And then Sarah and I sort of fell in love. And we lived together for like 7 years, 6 or 7 years, in my house in England. And I raised their 2 little children. So
Wait,
Beatrice usually, and usually, those were my children. Those were my kids. I raised those kids. Day to day raised them. I was father to those.
Wait, so you were not friends with Prince Andrew?
Oh, very good. Oh, no, we were very civilized. We'd go have dinner. We'd have dinner at my house to see his kids. So then, we go on a holiday in the south of France. And I get a big property, like 10 acres.
Okay.
Right near Saint-Tropez, right? You know, nobody has 10 acres. I'm on the biggest property, beautiful house.
Okay.
And I rented so that we have privacy, right? Because there's paparazzi everywhere. There's hundreds of paparazzi, not 10, not 20, hundreds. I know.
And this is already when Prince Andrew.
Yes, Prince Andrew. Yeah, he's out for the. He's on the. He was in the Navy. He was 250 days at sea. He never saw his kid.
Do you 100% believe Andrew?
I don't think. I think. Let me say it this way. Not only do I 100% believe him, but I absolutely know in my heart that it's not true. I know the man. I've spent incalculable amount of time with him. I dearly believe that it's absolutely not true, and I don't think that there's any question about that. Come for other girls. I was so pissed about that. I was really pissed. I was really pissed because he lied to me about that. And then I did a big thing in the Daily Mail saying that I believed Andrew, and then I found out he was lying. I was so pissed. No, they was underage girls.
Girls, That's not cool. Now, this guy, John Bryan, his job is being a fixer. Now, I'm thinking, where have I heard this term fixer before? Yeah, you've heard it. You ever see the movie Pulp Fiction? When
Harvey
the guy,
Keitel.
Harvey Keitel shows up, he's Winston Wolfe, and he goes, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, me? Don't worry about that. Do what I got to say." What do? I solve problems. And that's what he does. So when you hear the word fixer, think of the following things. They're problem solvers. They're also spin doctors. They also are sort of cleanup experts. If you saw Pulp Fiction, they had to clean up that mess in the car, if you know what I'm saying. Crisis management, damage control, discrete solutions, PR strategists, and reputation manager is what he does. Who utilizes people like this? Well, obviously royalty, politicians, high net worth individuals, CEOs, athletes, celebrities. And why do they use these people? Because they made an oopsie and they got to clean it up. Bottom line here, I agree with Vinny. Prince Andrew was up to no good, and he hired this fixer to clean up his mess. And now the fixer got caught on camera.
But isn't it? It's insane to me. Besides the fixer and all this stuff that we already knew, imagine how powerful these freaking pedophiles are. That it's getting slow walked, and we're gonna promise you, and it's gonna come multiple girls in there where he was going back to back to back to back, and this guy's admitting on camera, which he doesn't know that he's on camera. He's like, oh, he was sleeping with multiple underage girls. And what's going to happen to Prince Andrew? That's an indictment. He's saying, giving you proof. This guy's not lying. He doesn't even know he's on camera. If you're looking at footage with your eyes of grown men raping young underage women, arrest them. Go get them. How do you know that they're not still doing it right now? Those guys, pedophiles, that urge doesn't take a vacation. They're still out there doing it. Okay, they're making more victims while they're gonna, in the near future, we're gonna slow walk it. That's horseshit. Sorry.
Why did the Kardashians delete the photos of you at their birthday party?
That's actually such a funny story. We actually did not give them permission to publish our photos since we are royalty. We have to be very careful who we allow to post our photos, not just any old riffraff. Well, I'd hardly call the Kardashians riffraff. Well, of course. But you never know who's actually going to be at a party. So we signed a document that said we wouldn't allow our photos to be shared. Isn't that right? Yeah. Isn't that right, H?
Yeah, we did do.
Honey?
We did. Yeah, we did do.
That's really interesting because the Kardashians just came out and said that that's not true. Nobody at the party signed a document like that. Really? This isn't a live interview, right? We can cut it and not air all of it. What the H? Oh, it was your idea. Let's sign a document. Say we signed a document that won't allow our pictures to be shared. Nothing is my idea. You know why you don't have any ideas? Because you've never had a thought in your head until I came along.
No,
so you're
all
welcome.
I have is your voice
I'm sorry.
in my head.
You're welcome.
Oh, me bum. Your hand on my leg.
Would it be better for you to be your brother's shadow again? Would you rather that?
The claw.
I made you, Cosell. I made you.
Honey, look,
who you are.
Even my beard is falling off because of your shouting and all of the stress is taking its toll on my facial.
Hiya, mate. What's that? You're getting kicked out of your royal lodge. That sucks, mate. But this is a lovely two-bed. Oh, this is the living room, Andy. Can I call you Andy, or would you prefer I call you the artist formerly known as Prince? Andy. Kill. So I'm just going through your references, Andy, and it says at your last place you had a big party.
No, it was a shooting weekend. Straightforward shooting weekend.
Well, it's a quiet neighbourhood is what I'm getting at, so no guns. This is the kitchen. Bedroom. It can get quite hot in here, so if you're prone to sweating...
I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat.
Right. Is that a lie, Andy? Because you cannot lie in your application. That will affect your ability to secure the property. There's lots of lovely restaurants in the area.
A Pizza Express in Woking.
Well, no, that one's in Woking. There might be a Pizza Express, though. I'll Google it. Andy, I'm just looking through your paperwork again, and it says you haven't paid rent in 20 years. Why? You had a guarantor. Who was that? The British taxpayer. Right. Hang on. You don't think they're going to be a guarantor anymore? Okay. Right. That's going to be a problem, Andy. I'm sorry. I don't know. Have you got any, rich mates that you're close to that could help you out?
You need to go in a mental hospital, sweetheart. You've lost the plot, darling. You're a weirdo. Trust me, hearing voices as well, are we? I thought I was cuckoo. I'm actually normal.
Chapter 2. Nygard and Andrew. Connecting the dots and exposing the elite's dark secrets. Yes, I will. And we will have victims tell their horrific stories. So this chapter is going to be a long one, I think. I'll probably break it in half for a commercial break. But it's so imperative to me that I get as much as I possibly can into this show. It all belongs. It's all meant to be there and more. But I'm going to do what I can.
Imagine climbing over a cliff to get to your bed. The next home on our tour is one of the world's largest and most unusual. It's twice as big as computer billionaire Bill Gates' home. Well, now. And Christy guarantees that we've never seen anything like it before. Take a look.
From a boat, it looks fabulously exotic, and from the ground, it seems even more so, filled with temples, fountains, even rare birds. One of the world's largest homes. This tropical fantasy took 10 years and over $30 million to build. This is the owner, Canadian mogul Peter Nygard, whose mega successful company makes women's clothing sold everywhere from Saks to Sears.
It's like a personal resort. It's big. It's about 150,000 square feet.
In fact, Peter's home is so big that guests need electric cars to move around the compound's 4 acres. You're going to drive into your house?
We're going to drive into your house.
Peter designed the place himself, ensuring that each of the 20 bedrooms has magnificent views. Each room has a name and a personality. This one is called Cliffhanger, built so it literally dangles over the sea.
Come on, this is truly Robinson Crusoe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, watch how it rocks.
This is the ultimate waterbed.
Yeah.
Peter says he built his home to go back to nature, and so he used native materials everywhere, from this shell sink to this wooden tub. Naturally, Peter entertains constantly here, making sure his guests enjoy every luxury from indoor-outdoor pool to full-size tennis courts. Visitors include Sean Connery, Michael Jackson, and his favorite, George Bush.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I can't believe I came across an Oprah. Johnny Carson and Oprah. That's crazy. And I'm not even going to get into her nefarious dealings because this show would be 5 hours. But I'm glad we're at that point in history where we can say she sucks and we don't like her so much. No. And of course, Fergie's one of her, quote unquote besties. Except none of those women really have besties, right? But anyway, I also did that little collage there of some of the people that were at Nygard Key. And if you noticed, there's another royal there as well, Prince Albert of Monaco. So it's not just Andrew, but Andrew was a repeat customer for all the wrong reasons. There's many facets to this chapter, so I thought I would just put together like 5 minutes of a little bit of clips to show you his personality and what he was all about, aging in reverse type thing. And we'll also get into the victims and we'll let them tell their stories. And there's and Andrew, of course, and the stories there with Beatrice. There's a lot in this chapter. So let's just get going.
Makes Epstein seem like an amateur. Uses his money, power, and intimidation. A fashion mogul. What is it with the fashion industry and trafficking? Just like Epstein, he uses numerous properties to traffic. He would have pamper parties and massages, girls young as 14 years old. He would invite celebrities, presidents, and royalty. Oprah, Robert De Niro, George W. Bush, Sean Connery. Hey, it's Prince Andrew. Makes me think Epstein was the copycat. He kept a database of thousands of potential victims and required that each woman be photographed. How far does this go?
We have some breaking news for you. Canadian fashion mogul Peter Nygard has been arrested.
Following a request from the U.S. Justice Department to begin extradition.
He's been indicted in the Southern District of New York on multiple charges of sex trafficking minors and racketeering.
What has he got? If not himself, then he has not.
Peter Nygard, as you've never seen him before.
He told me to film everything, so I had terabytes of footage.
Spreading your legs.
He used his power, his influence, his brand to show the world that I am Peter Nygard and I control everything I touch.
Very nice, very nice.
It's so disgusting, your fucking behaviors. It's the worst fucking place I visit. Sheer fucking neglect.
The young girls and women felt I had no choice. It's a tragic story.
Peter Nygard fought in court for years to keep this video private. By 1967, he had bought into a small women's clothing company, eventually naming it Tan J. Over the next several decades, he would grow that into Nygard International, a global fashion empire founded in Winnipeg. While Nygard was building his brand, there were whispers and rumors about sexual misconduct, a dropped rape charge in 1980, sexual harassment of his employees in the 1990s. In the 1980s, Nygard purchased the western tip of New Providence, the main Bahamian island, and named it for himself.
Every time Nygard was in Bahamas, he would have a pamper party on a Sunday.
Those parties were promoted as a way to pamper local women with relaxation and fun. At least that's how Nygard described them.
It wasn't really a job, it was a giant whorehouse.
Ross said she didn't like what she saw at Nygard's parties, but felt she had no choice but to go along.
The pamper party was something set up to lure girls in for Mr. Nygard to have sex with them.
At parties like these, this was a common sight. And some of the women Nygard chose couldn't have fled if they'd wanted to.
If a says no, workers would literally drop her and get her prepped for when nygard is ready to go up with her. The bartenders would usually slip goofies into the female's drinks.
Two others who say they saw white powder at the bottom of glasses handed out by nygard bartenders.
The pamper parties had nothing to do with trying to find a model. It was basically to procure women.
The most perverse and the most violent of all of the trafficking endeavors I've seen.
Lisa Haba and Greg Gutzler are the attorneys behind the U.S. lawsuit against Peter Nygard.
This is a very high-stakes case. I think this case is going to be complex because we have an international trafficking ring with its focus from New York City, from which it emanated, with tentacles all over the world, with hundreds of people that enabled, helped, and knew about this scheme.
Whatever we now have to do with this stupidity, we should check it through the other.
He screamed at us in a very stressful environment.
I don't make the law here, Nygard. I'm just following it.
You're not following my law.
Peter Nygard's X-rated life on the road.
Nygard had a bed on the plane, and he would have sex with the girls up in the front of the plane. This video was taken on Nygard's airplane in 2012. She's the girl who's her age. I saw her at a pamper party, I think was the first time.
You like it?
It's really nice. I love this suite.
This is in Las Vegas, and he's confused. He thinks that there's more girlfriends than are actually there.
We're all going to stay in this suite, so it's so big, so I got that. You guys are with me, and you guys, how many we got? How many girls? Is there one missing?
Peter Nygard has now been arrested. U.S. authorities want to put him on trial in New York. Incredibly, this video was taken just a few days before. One of Nygard's prized possessions, now being sold off for scrap.
I really hope you've been enjoying the stuff I put together so far. Obviously the footage I have to use, but all the, floating pictures and music and everything like that is from me, and I am uber proud because I taught myself. Anyway, I'm going to show you the map, the pattern of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Peter Nygard, convicted predator. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, repeated guest. Who else was in the room when nobody watched? Being a guest doesn't equal guilt. No, it doesn't. So here is the map. A convicted predator, an elite guest list, an island of silence, and a royal who walked in while the lights were on. Fact 1, Nygard trafficked. Fact 2, Andrew visited. Unknown, what happened backstage. No charge sheet names everyone in that room, which is true. A lot of names are out, but not all. So, if the guest list included royalty, and it did, not just him, why has no deep investigation named them in the court documents? Well, I think that's pretty easy to answer, right? Nothing ever reaches court. It never will. That's just how it works with the royals. But maybe things are changing. And let's just hope, right? That's all we can do, hope and pray. Yep, we're going to get there, I promise, down this rabbit hole of absolute insanity. Things I did not expect to find, and I'm open to everything, so it was kind of like, what? I do need to bring this up, because this also goes into showing why Andrew felt so secure in what he was doing. So, as much as it pains me, I am going to talk about it, and then we're going to get on to that island. I'm trying desperately to show all sides, good, bad, and ugly, but this pains me. It does. I won't lie about that. I adored our queen. When she died, as my family, I cried like a baby. I really did. But I also am smart enough to know, right? Common sense. She's human. And not everything that she did was perfect, nor would it ever be. Only God is perfect. These are about Peter Nygard being honored by Her Majesty the Queen. All those that you see on the side are all of the awards that I am not getting into that he was given throughout the world, basically, for his humanitarianism and his patriotism. And I'm just like, puke, puke, puke all over the place. He was recognized for his great work in the world. And MSM knew what he was, and a glowing report was said on him. Yeah, So I realize and understand the Queen doesn't choose who gets these awards, but it does tell us another pattern. Who was in their orbit? There's so many sickos in their orbit, honestly. The confirmed awards from Her Majesty the Queen was the Golden Jubilee Medal and the Diamond Jubilee Medal. And these medal ceremonies took place in Canada, not at the palace. Part of the Queen's National Jubilee program recognizing Canadians in 2002 and 2012, local dignitaries, not the Queen herself, presented the awards. And I know it might sound stupid, but I'm glad for that. I am. I'm glad that there is not a photo with the Queen and Nygard, at least not a public one. Thank God for that. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But what it does do, like I said, is show why Andrew felt untouchable. Right? All right. Now, let's get into the island. So I was dreading doing this part of the show. I really, really was. So I'm doing it a little bit differently. This blind item was from last year in January, and it said, hopefully somewhere in the documents will be how the royal paid off his debt by offering up one of his children, which was Andrew and J.E. And I just said, too, not the first time. Nygard Key has horrible secrets, which we'll get to. But first, we're going to address this because these are the kind of people that Andrew and Fergie invited to their daughter's 18th birthday party, because that's what this was. I swear to God, Fergie does not want her girls to look better than her, but she actually does have the worst fashion style sense besides Rochelle out there. Because even though this is Victorian, what with these outfits are horrible. They're horrible. I'm sorry, but they are. So what I have for both blinds are transcripts, and I'll be brief because I don't want it to be long, and some comments. So let's get to that. Stick with me. There's a method to my madness. So we know I go by patterns, right? And that's why I'm even bothering with any of this, because it's patterns. It shows what Fergie and Andrew both do to their girls. Instead of the P word, I'm just going to say monster, because it's just easier. Lock Monster Andrew up. Nah, powerful people and all that. They're too busy hating on Rochelle to care. Okay. They'll turn up the BS stories on Harry and Rochelle to avoid it. Well, that's a sugar. Actually, both Harold and Rochelle and Andrew are terrible people and an embarrassment to the royal family and the UK, to the world, actually, to the whole world, just for different reasons. They all deserve whatever calling out they receive from the press for their bad behavior. Reopen the tower. Lock them up. Lose the key in the Times. Hear, hear. That was out there in the press years ago. See, this has been out there. Just nobody ever really cared enough. Someone says, what was the puppet story? Listen to this. You know the spitting image dolls, that puppet spoof type show on the royals? Well, look at what he did. Andrew somehow got his hands on, or was gifted, his spitting image puppet. Allegedly, he groped one of the girls' breasts with the puppet. So then guess what that brings up? Let me show you. The craziest thing to me, my friends, is that these blinds were years apart, right? And they both bring this up in both of them. So someone said, did you see how her father, Andrew, grabbed her tush during the walk for the Queen's service? They were outside looking at all the flowers and stuff, and he completely went up into her crack. Sick, sick man. Yup. This blind will be wrapped up with this bit of a transcript from NT Lawyer because that's who put it out on his YouTube. And he says, August 6, 2021, one of mine never been revealed. The YouTuber lady came as close as she ever has to calling out the ex of the royal monster. She knows he passed around their offspring when younger, and that's Lady C. Oh my goodness. This is about Fergie, Andrew, Eugenie, and Beatrice in 21. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to leave that there. So this blind was from 2022, and it says, the ex of the royal monster thought they would be getting remarried once the mum died. Is she in for a surprise? Will she retaliate? Will she talk about how at least one of the kids was forced to spend time alone with the dead monster in exchange for much needed money? What? So this is Fergie, Andrew, and when the Queen died. Are you effing with me? And then I found this and I'm like, why would she? Andrew allegedly slept with 12 women in first year of marriage to Fergie. So this is the man you want back, hey? The greatest man ever. Sick. She won't say anything because she's in it up to her eyeballs as far as I can tell. And maybe, and I don't usually do this, but I'm feeling pretty. I woke up and chose violence, okay? Because I'm telling you, I have been immersed in this for 2 weeks and I just want to scratch their eyeballs out. Fergie, out of anybody I've ever known, you needed to use Nygard's special little concoction there. You don't look good. That's because the evil comes out. Yeah, that makes her look good, Mother of the Year. Remarriage would let Randy Andy publicly pretend he is happy in a relationship with an age-appropriate woman. Too bad everyone knows Sarah's 40 plus years too old to really interest him. And she's not a man. He swings both ways. So, sick F's the lot of them. Freak show deluxe. It would be wonderful if she did, but I'm thinking she's in too deep. Sarah can't spill. She's just as bad as the monster prince. Really griftery. Could be appalling and amusing if they had a go at each other. They stuck with each other, I reckon. Be cool if the daughters started talking, though. Absolutely. But I think they have their own secrets, too. The apple doesn't fall far, you know? And then in this blind, too, it was brought up again. Not that there was any question Andrew was a perv, but the vid of him groping Eugenie's butt at the viewing of the flowers proves just how awful he is. Those poor girls. Ah, yes, I remember. And it's almost as if he did it subconsciously. The perviness is so ingrained in him. Disgusting man. Exactly. I watched it again yesterday to confirm before I posted, and it is truly chilling. And given that he walks free, Andrew really did get away with everything, just like all in J.E.'s orbit. Disgusting. Absolutely. So, with what I do, at least how I go about my job, it's almost, well, it is. It's an investigation, right? So I pick out little things here and there, and I hope you're doing that throughout the video, by the way, because there's some things I'm not going to say out loud, but you can pick up with people what they're saying and how they say it and how they word it. So this was the transcript from NT about this blind, but there was something in here that was a little bit different that went, okay then. So basically, it's just a repeat of what the blind said, except for this one little thing. He added Princess Eugenie. Not Beatrice, though. Not Beatrice. So that tells me, I don't know if he did it subconsciously or what, that it was Eugenie that did that little favor for her father. And if you ask me, he's got a very bizarre relationship with Eugenie, and it's all kinds of wrong. And you can see Beatrice literally, as much as she can, distance herself from him. Right? Honestly. So that will now lead me into nygard key with Beatrice. So Princess Beatrice on that trip was something hidden from public view. There are stories, some printed, some whispered, about how debts were settled in ways money couldn't explain. Those claims can't be verified in court, but they exist in the same orbit as every proven fact we've just walked through. That's the pattern, money, access, silence. And then I found this poem and I'm like, oh wow, this is it right here. Prince Andy became tabloid fodder, his thirst only slacked by girls younger and hotter. So when he defiles the child of another, can he really be bothered by the fate of his daughter? Wow. Right? Seriously? Wow. So from what I have heard, something happened to Beatrice on this island as a youngster. Beatrice, this is exactly why she stays away from her father. Because he has no problem just giving her up. Right? It's actually despicable beyond words. It really is. It's just the worst of the worst, you know? Can the FBI still ask questions, interview Andrew now that he has fewer protections? Yes. The FBI in the States often have no statute of limitations for certain SA crimes involving minors or movement of said minors. Andrew hasn't been charged, that's true, but the pattern of his associations, documented estate visits, and public non-cooperation, albeit not definitive proof of a crime, it does raise serious questions about why the titles were stripped now. I think we know now, hey? It's coming clear. The storm, it's a brewing, and it's not just coming from one place. So, interesting, no? I'm sorry, but I'm kind of loving this a little bit. Am I a horrible person because I want to laugh? I love when this stuff happens to bad people. I do. So yes, the fact he is more exposed without the full royal duty shield, how about no official roles at all now, means the risk of the U.S. or other jurisdictions' investigators demanding his cooperation is higher. And it's been happening already. When patterns repeat, protection fades. The same network that shielded nygard for decades sheltered Andrew too, until the walls finally cracked. Titles fall, names change, but the trail of power and privilege always leaves a pattern, one even the firm can't erase. And now we're going to discuss what was touched on previously about nygard and his I want to live forever thing. He wanted to keep it all secretive and stuff. Did you notice that when the guy was interviewing him? Oh, he was so proud of it, bursting at the seams, but knew he couldn't say it all because he said he has himself in a petri dish. Well, how did that get there? You need an egg. And where did he get said egg? Well, it's disgusting in every sense of the word. It really is. So I'm going to put on that little piece that I had on before because it's important, where they discuss this procedure. And the fellow that's with him, who should be in jail, by the way, and is not, I will bring him back so you can see what he's like today. Oh, yeah. So let's just watch this unbelievable scene that got recorded, and then I will see you back.
Stem cell technology that Peter and I are investing in is called SDNT, which takes the egg of a young, perfect woman specimen, takes the egg and takes out the nucleus and puts our DNA in the nucleus. They just go in and take it out.
Painful,
Huh?
Is it painful? Jesus.
Yeah, and this is part of this genetic greatness that we don't see in any other race on the planet. These curvy, sexy black women from Africa. Negroes have a kind of a monopoly on this genetic perfection, and we want some of that. So, girls, for $100, we would pay you for your egg.
No, you $100?
So how much do you want for it? Let's bid. I bid $500 for you. Whatever I bid, he's going to outbid me. I bought about $60,000 of the eggs. Yeah. They're so rich with stem cells. That's very valuable. Umbilical cord, and placenta, even your pure blood is so rich with stem cells. When you regard it as waste, and it actually should be. It should be captured as recycled, and it shouldn't go to waste. It's life for somebody, and it's life for mankind. The best eggs are 16 to 18 years old. Those are the best eggs. As you get older, your eggs get weaker and weaker.
Yeah. Thank you.
So you may not be our candidate.
No, that's fine. I think I would like it.
Hollywood. Of course they're involved. Of course. And, it's not a shock when you see who Nygard liked to surround himself with. Yes. What I'm going to do first is just show you some pictures. I'm sure you have seen lately that stars, people with a lot of money, stuff like that, they've been looking a lot different lately. And yes, people like Kris Jenner, who's 70 and looks 30. Martha Stewart, who's 84 and looks like she's 34. This is not just plastic surgery either. So I'm going to show you that. And always remember, whatever I'm showing you, there is a method to my madness. It'll all make sense. It will. So let's just look at these shocking, shocking pictures. I have to put Rochel in there, really, right? Look at that vein. Where did that vein go, my friends? I'll tell ya, she would have got rid of that vein years ago, if she could have. So how did it work now? Who's got this magic, right? The elite. It's crazy. And as much as we hate it, and believe me, I do, she is mingling in those crowds. And, some of those people are straight up demons. So, she's a demon, as far as I'm concerned. Allegedly, whatever. So, basically, through this show, I've been trying to avoid, saying it outright about what Nygard was doing. But it's going to come to that pretty quick here. We are going to, hear the victims' stories and stuff like that. Basically, on that island, especially because it was in the Bahamas, he would force himself on black girls. This man was sick with the white women, and you'll see their stories. They're pretty graphic, but they say it in a way that hopefully it should be okay to put on here. I'm hoping. I'm going to make a commercial break in between here right away, because after that it's going to be pretty heavy. But I got to be thorough on this. I just want people to know what Andrew was surrounding himself with, because that's for real. That's no joke. This is no joke. This is what this man did for 5 decades. And yes, Andrew was there repeatedly. And look at the kind of guy he is. And I believe that this will come up again. Nygard's still alive. I mean, that would worry me if I was in the royal family. It really would. But there is more to come to show you the connection, how it's connected. It just will blow you away. It blew me away. There's a few things that blew me away, a few connections I did not expect, but we'll get there. I almost forgot to talk about Serena for a minute. Just a minute. And then on the side, I'm going to put Lindsay Lohan's pictures because those just blow me away. But really, think about it. Serena, you cannot tell me even for half a second that Rochelle did not know Nygard. Nygard and the big J.E. were buddies. Yes. And the timing, it's all the same timing and everything. And look at Serena. What the hell? And look at how she looks now. By the way, that picture of her with Kim Kardashian, that's a real photo. Really. It looks very awful. But look at now on the bottom what she looks like. How did that happen? How did that happen? Huh. So yeah, anyway. We're going to get to this clip and I'll be back.
A lot of weirdness going on in Hollywood these days, wouldn't you say? Some people are looking like different versions of themselves, some looking younger than they ever have before, and some just looking straight up weird. It's got a lot of us wondering, what the hell's happening? Well, I stumbled across this video of this elite fashion designer. Maybe you've heard of him. His name was Peter Nygard, and he was into stem cell therapy and reversing his age, and he ended up creating his own stem cell line where he was replacing his dying cells to prevent him from aging. Peter Nygard has been in prison since 2020, 2021, but I find that timeline interesting because that's when all these celebrities started to look different. Peter Nygard lost everything that he had ever worked for, his legacy, his house, his clothing brand, but this invention sounds like something the elites would never want to let go of. Could it be that his technology landed in someone else's hands and that some of these elites and Hollywood celebrities have created their own stem cell lines?
I started stem cells about 6 years ago now, and it was the biggest discovery and most important discovery of my life. I decided that I'm going to be taking stem cells. I was so impressed with the whole potentiality of it. Taking stem cells 4 times a year. And look at now all my medical records on my body, and it's working. I am now younger than I was 5 years ago.
How do my viewers get involved in promoting stem cell research, education, and also consumption, frankly?
Oh yeah, no, it's a very, very big field, you know. And first of all, it's the most important field as a user, you know, as a patient. Once you study it, you get addicted to it. Because after all, it's the essence of life, you know, and how you can live longer by using your own body to cure itself.
Is there any research we can read about on your websites or publications?
nygardbiotech.com. And we're being very careful as to how much advice we give. You got to be careful what you say in this industry. There's a lot of snake oil guys out there, you know, and they're very easy with this advice when they try to sell it.
This is my 7th straight year at this party. I love this. What is it about it that keeps it just going? It's like 26 years, right? I mean, what is it? Is it the women?
It's over 20 years. You know, it is everything. You know, the issue of Hollywood glamour is what it's all about, you know. And everybody loves it. Everybody likes to get dressed up like this. Everybody likes to be photographed. Everybody likes to be in front of these cameras. Everybody's a bit of a star, you know. And we all want to be a star.
I thought I would do this with this meme because it's so funny to me. And as you can see beside me are photos of the women that were with Peter, like their girlfriends. Pamela Anderson doesn't want to admit it, but she was. There's pictures everywhere and everything, but she's trying to, create a new image or whatever. But yeah, so I thought I'd put those up there as well, because he also traumatized all his girlfriends. He absolutely did. But there is one girlfriend that we need to discuss. It would be like comparing Maxwell and Epstein. This is Nygard and Sue Lynn. And wait until you hear what's going on with this chick. I'm serious. It blow your mind. Everything in here is going to blow your mind. It did me. So this will be the connection right now. How we're going to connect Nygard, his invention, and all of this Hollywood and all of the elite. And then we're going to get into even more stuff that's horrendously sad. So there you go. I'm just a ball of fun tonight. So this is Sue Lynn, Instagram model, NYC talent agency, among Peter Nygard's co-conspirators named in new lawsuits. His top girlfriend, Sue Lynn Medeiros, also took women where they shouldn't be to be mistreated, the lawsuit alleges. And this woman should be in prison. But wait until you see where she actually is.
Nygard, he raped women. He has a huge lawsuit. He's in prison right now, by the way, over in Canada, I believe it is. But I'm here to talk about her. This is Sue Lynn. Much like Epstein had Giselle, who went out and got women for him to rape, assault, abuse. That is what Miss Sue Lynn did for Nygard. Sue Lynn is married to the Kardashian surgeon. She's on Instagram right now with 4 million followers almost. She lives a very lavish life. How she got them nice boobies was giving women to Peter Nygard. He paid her in money. He paid her in plastic surgery, in cars, bring women to his house and abandon them so he could take advantage of them, so he could abuse them and hold them hostage. She is named literally all in Peter Nygard's freaking lawsuit. Peter Nygard is locked up while Sue out living their best life on social media. That means with the Kardashian surgeon. Their victims get to see them posted up living this lavish ass life. Will never not flabbergast me. People like Sue Lynn can commit these kind of crimes, somehow avoid prison time and go on to live this high class life. All this is not alleged. She is in Peter Nygard's lawsuit. But this one ain't for entertainment. This is for education, so you know who the fuck you're following.
So that woman, this is just one document, and this was page 8 of 22 pages of it. This woman is Sue Lynn, the one that is now married to the rich doctor who's making everybody go back in time like they're Benjamin Button. It says that she would always falsely claim that she was with him so she could be his alibi all the time. And that she's on that horse down there. That's in Winnipeg. Underneath there is a check to Sue Lynn Medeiros. It's a blank check because she was given full access to Nygard's money. She's on all the flight logs. She was known, even though he had many girlfriends, as the top girlfriend because she moved people around. That's what she did. This billboard, because it's from New York City, which just ties into Nygard and everything, right? Because he's wanted in New York City, and so is Andrew from the FBI for both J.E. and Nygard. Both. Safe, secure, protected, with minimal charges, just like Prince Andrew. Oh my God. Anyway, isn't that crazy? How similar. There's the pattern. It's always the pattern. J.E. and Maxwell, Nygard and Sue Lynn. Except, honest to God, J.E. and Maxwell were better. I shit you not. What blows me away is the doctor to the stars, the $2 million facelift that he's using with stem cell lines and whatever. How is he so stupid to marry a woman like that? How can you be so dumb and smart at the same time? Well, maybe it was because of what she had. She had Nygard's entire quote-unquote recipe, I guess. I don't know what to call it. Anyway, we're going to watch commercial. And then we're going to watch that guy. I told you we would check back on him. The idiot who was like, oh, I'll pay $100 for your eggs. Oh, my God. And the one who was drinking beer or whatever when Nygard was being his disgusting self there. We'll see what time did to him. Karma's a bitch. And then it's just a 3-minute thing that I put together, but it's got 2 employees that recorded Nygard. Their stories are mind-blowing, and it's just crazy to listen to him, how he talks to them. I'm going to put victims on because it's important that we hear them. It really is. And then there's kids. And how I got to the kids, I did not expect it at all. So let's have some funnies first before we get back into the filth. And then, of course, the last chapter is Andrew, and it's the worst. So, yeah.
It's spooky season, as I've been told by my team, and there's no better way to celebrate the season than carving a pumpkin with a best friend. Best friend? Oh my God.
It's really good to be here.
Meghan Markle is here. I think the Duchess knows a thing or two around a pumpkin. So we just carve it, and it's for fun.
You know, it's funny, I actually used to work at a pumpkin store, and we would have to carve pumpkins every single day.
You are so relatable. I love your sweatshirt, by the way.
You have a home there, right?
I do.
How many?
I do. About 2. Okay, so my assistant got us this. Not available on Goop. This is for normal people. Oh, there's a whole book.
A coloring book.
Uh-oh. I haven't opened anything myself in years. Can someone help us, please?
Jeff, come over here.
Jeff, I think it's just so crazy to me that people think that we aren't friends. We are friends.
We've always been friends.
We've always been inseparable. Moses and Apple, Mommy's recording.
Family.
What is this?
No, the king can't make me leave because it would actually be a no-fault eviction. Yes, because he would be trying to increase my rent from nothing to something. Yes, and that's not allowed anymore. I don't know if you've seen the news. So yeah, thank God for the Labour government, you know, looking out for the people who really need it. And, you know, the king, he tried to come over and give it all the, if you don't leave, you know, we'll take Beatrice and Eugenie's titles away. But I said, fine, you know, do it. They'll be okay. You know, no Nepo babies in this family.
Rachel, I'm headed out to find my pony spare and go play polo.
Harold, you moron. You can't be going to ride a pony when you've been up for a week partying.
I have no idea what she's talking about. I'm totally fine and been doing this for decades. At last I've found my pony spare. Oh, what a good pony. Daddy can't wait to play polo with you. Why isn't this pony moving? I'm pushing forward and everything. Next time I'm marrying a vet.
Meow, 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 meow.
That last commercial, my cat. He was having none of it. It's so funny. Well, I'm sure you remember this fool, right? I just thought I'd show his picture before we get into it. It's only like a minute or two because I found a bunch of pieces here and there. It took me like hours for this few minutes. I'm not even kidding. And trying to clean it up and da-da-da-da. Anyway, we're going to see how well he's done since he obviously turned on Nygard. But yeah, let's check it out. And then right after that, it'll go into the employees. So I will see you when that is done.
Peter had this extraordinary motivation to be great, and so it worked. He got to be great. But when your masculinity is based on that, you have to prove it every day. And you just, since you don't believe it, and you think no one else believes it, you got to go out and prove it every single day. He would fight to the death to win. His father was an absolute perfectionist. His perfectionism went into Peter's brain. He did everything 100%. That quality gave him a tremendous motivation, so much motivation that he never wanted to lose at anything.
Image. And I recall as well my very first meeting with him. One of the first things that he said to me was, I'm famous. People are going to ask you questions about me. You must always say good things. Always. Never say anything bad. Do you understand? And so the first thing was going through my mind was, like, how many bad things are going to happen here, right? Yelling and screaming and swearing. You know, that's just Peter. It was very unnerving to me. That's not my temperament. I'm on board. I'm a team member, but don't yell at me. I was a nervous wreck. I've never had any experience like that in my life. There he was, sitting on the toilet next to Pastor. Is the bathroom door open? You want to give a fuck? You was no fucking fast as hell, and you run instead of walking around like a fucking asshole with a thumb tape up your ass. That's what happened on that trip. That was the game changer for me. So now we're entering onto the plane, and this is a really large, older, jumbo jet. We walk into the plane, and there's like a dance floor and a stripper pole, and off on the corner is a bed. And then there's Mr. Nygard's room, and on this bed are young models. I'm so horrified and repulsed that there's probably 4 or 5 girls on this king-size bed, giggling and laughing and waiting their turn to go talk to Mr. Nygard in the bedroom. These are models. They think this is their big break. That's no big break. And I got back to the hotel room, and I was really sick to my stomach, repulsed, and felt ill, to be honest. And I called my husband and I said, I'm quitting my job and I'm flying home.
It started originally when I would despoil my own staff and want to give them a massage and a pedicure, etc. on every Sunday. But as I started inviting some other friends, it grew and grew and grew, and it became 20 years ago. It already started to become a normal, most famous party of all here.
Yeah, Nygard's a special kind of fella. And his friend is creepier than creepy. But this is for the victims, so I'm not going to say much at all. I'm just going to let them tell their stories. Sorry this one's not too fun, but I don't think this could be, you know. So we'll just listen.
Witnesses claim that his Bahamas estate, known as Nygard K, wasn't just a mansion, it was a fortress of horrors. Some even called it a real-life horror movie. Former employees and victims describe underground rooms, locked doors.
On the inside of that room, it was a keyed lock. So with no key in the door, I was trapped. I said to him, okay, so where's my room? And he said, oh no, we're staying here together. What did you expect? I'm not staying here with you. I'm not sleeping with you. I'm not having sex with you. I'm not tonight, not ever. That's not why I'm here. He sort of smiled like it was nothing, like my words didn't matter. And
he came and asked me if I wanted to meet Mr. Nygard. And when I walked into the room, he told me that I could have a seat. He offered me a glass of wine, which I never drank the whole thing. After a few moments of answering questions, I felt really nauseous. I felt sick, like I wasn't myself. He said, let's go into, it was a bedroom area. I could remember There was a very large, like a mirror in the ceiling. He told me to sit onto the bed. He was pulling on my hand and stuff, and I felt so uncomfortable. I was confused. My head started spinning. I felt like I wanted to throw up. He started pushing on me, and I started saying, stop, stop. Everything was just spinning and rotating. He started pulling down on my sweatpants, and he penetrated me.
According to the lawsuit, Peter Nygard raped both Jane Doe number 1 and Jane Doe number 3 when they were 14 and 15 years old, respectively.
I've seen on numerous occasions females come, they are told that they're going to be the next top model, and it's nothing. After he already sexually abused them, he takes them and he forgets them just as quick as they come, as quick as they go.
The first time we went to the property, I just was kind of blown away. I didn't know what to think. It was nothing I'd ever seen before. I very soon found out that I was not free to come and go as I pleased. There were, strict rules. The gate would just not open for me. You had to have Peter's permission for the gate to open. And so it was at that point that I knew I was held captive, and that he could tell me what I could do, when I could do it, when I could leave, when I could not. He had complete and full control. He had my passport. He invited a couple of us up to his room for drinks. And after having some drinks, it was just the two of us, and everyone just kind of dispersed. I don't know exactly where they went. And then started talking to me about different kinds of sex and what I had done and what I haven't done. And he started talking about anal sex. And I was pretty horrified, starting to feel pretty fuzzy at the same time because I had too much to drink, but I didn't think I had. Before I knew it, he had me on his bed, face down. He pulled my hips up, and I felt so drunk. And then before I knew it, he was inside me. I didn't want him to do this, and I said stop, and he didn't. And I cried, and then I just turned myself off. I had never felt that kind of pain, and I just felt myself tearing. And when he was finished, I got off the bed and I grabbed my clothes and I ran out and went to my cabana. I stayed there for a couple of days because I was very hurt. I was alone, I was scared. After the pain subsided, I come out and I started, spending some time on the beach, and the same thing happened as it did that first time. But this time was the hardest because while he was sodomizing me, his son came to knock on the door. And instead of feeling sorry for myself at that point, I felt sorry for him because he had a dad like that. That time after, he had Canadian bills in his hand, and he just kind of threw it at me on the bed and said, "There you go." He's treating me like I was a prostitute. I'm not. I wasn't a prostitute. That's not prostitution, that's rape.
Pushing him off of me, but before I could get him off of me, he already had it came. He already had a 2 months later, I'm pregnant. So I went to Peter. Peter, I'm pregnant. Oh, Brooke, you pregnant? So what do you want to do? I want to have my baby. Well, what about your career? I'm gonna still have my baby. You the boss. I get to have my career because you're the boss. And he was like, well, you can have the baby if you're going to be a model. And I'm like, this can't be. I was fighting to have my baby. I wanted to have my baby so bad. And Peter made me these promises. I'll take care. Once you have the boy, you're going to have a career. And then you have a baby.
You just don't know this guy. He's the most scariest, creepiest, freakiest man I've ever met in my entire life. He locked one of my friends up in a dog cage and kept her chained up in this dog cage for 3 days. He would not let her leave. He kept another girl that I know and dance with literally tied up. This man would progressively get worse and more dangerous. And he would literally tell you if you quit seeing him, he was gonna alive you. He scared me. I've met a lot of people, and he is one person that really, really terrified me. I ended up quitting working at this club that he would come to because I was so afraid of him. And he would be like, you are not allowed to tell me no. Me and the girls have vowed to never talk about this guy because he's so scary, and we did all sign an NDA, but now he's in jail. But I still value my life, and he's the type of guy that could just make you disappear. And we all have a bunch of crazy, terrifying stories that happen with him because I know how he is. I know the things that he does to girls.
Well, I felt safer than any other time I was there because I didn't have to be with him. Because he was violent. To be sexualized by a monster, I would take having sex or being raped by a stranger than having that. And that's a horrible way to compare. But that is how I felt at the time.
I was between the ages late 60s, early 70s. I was working at the bar. These ladies were outside downstairs in the parking lot, and they was handing out flyers inviting people to go to a pamba party. But she was just explaining like, okay, this was like a mansion, and this guy, he hosts these pamba parties where you could get free manicure, pedicures, free food, free drinks, and I mean, the way she described the place, it sounded fun.
Most of them were from lower income families. An opportunity to have a great career. But when you're in the nygard world, you actually are facing reality that there's much more evil in this world than you ever knew. He put his hand over my mouth. He said, I'm not talking to you.
This violent man was believed to have raped and assaulted more girls and women than any other predator I could think of.
He did horrific acts in his office, on his plane, and at his island.
I didn't try to stop him. It was devastating, it was violent, it was awful. It forever changed my life.
Let me be very clear. The women that we know about is the tip of the iceberg.
Make no mistake. These two are cut from the same cloth. I am not kidding. When you finish this last chapter, you will completely understand. These kind of guys are the sickest of the sick. They're the richest of the rich, and there's no help for them. There really isn't. Now, before I get to all that, I have found something I'd pre-recorded. I found something incredible that ties everybody together. This was extremely interesting to me because it connects all of them. J.E., Nygard, Andrew. Oh, yeah. So Nygard, a close friend of the Duke of York, this is obviously when he still was, and a former J.E. associate, will soon be extradited from Canada to the States to face charges of child S, moving them around, child R-wording, and running a massive elite P-ring. Yeah. The news comes just weeks after Andrew was correctly served child S, move them around, lawsuit papers. Wow. Nygard was first arrested last December at his house in Winnipeg, Manitoba. A 9-count federal indictment charged that he used his immense wealth and connections to the world's elite to basically kidnap children for his VIP friends to R-word over a 25-year period. Sick. Okay, this is going to end this chapter. And I wanted to touch on this because it is important. And maybe you'll be shocked, maybe you won't. But with what I'm going to show you next. However, first, is it a coincidence that Nygard chose the ghetto of Canada to launch his fashion park, where the world's top DNA lab just happens to be, where Indigenous go missing daily? I say there's no such thing as coincidence. We're talking women and children missing and never found again. Where did they go? Well, let me show you something and see what you think. This does a full circle from who's out at his island, people like Gates, and what's happened. Thunder Bay, Ontario has experienced several missing persons cases, including children and youth. In 2019, over 40,000 children were reported missing in Canada in 1 year, and we do not have a large population. This is what I don't understand. Why does Bill Gates own the largest ownership stake at CN Rails? That's our railway. He has 67% of his $42 billion portfolio in the Canadian Railway. That's insane. That's insane. He owns it through Cascade Investment and his own Gates Foundation. Well, Cascade Investment is Bill Gates' investment firm. Why is this fella, who's supposed to be into computers and whatnot, into this? We know the nefarious things that go with Gates, and I can't talk about it here. I would love to. I would actually love to have my whole channel about stuff like this. That's what it started out as. But as for right now, this is all I can do. Yes, I would even like to do True Crime with the Royals. Yeah. So I'm going to wrap up this chapter. It's a tough one. It was a long one. And I thank you so much for caring enough to watch it. So let's hit some commercials. And then we're going to go to chapter 3. And that's the worst of all. Yeah.
Hello. Christ, it's her from number 5. Are you, love? Are you all right? Here we are in Peru. Do you know what? We were just saying how much of a lovely time we were having here in Peru. Yeah, well, I am. Kelly's not. She got conned by a love rat called Eduardo, so... Oh, yeah. Said if she gave up all of her wealth, she'd have access to the spirit world. 10 minutes later, her bank account's drained and she's got a box of Pisco brandy, so... Anyway, we're actually just on our way to, Look at this flower. Okay. Lovely. Look. Palm trees. Yes. Uh-huh. Pacific Ocean. Right there. Look. Oh, my God, she's smacked off her tits. Look, what are we going to do? No, we can't invite her to come with us. Can't have two pale gingers together in this much sunshine. We'll start reflecting so much light we'll divert boats away from the coastline. Be a nightmare. Well, it's been lovely bumping into you briefly, but we've just got to get... Follow me. Oh, we're still talking. Good. And this is just regular in the city. A beautiful tree like this. It's beautiful here. Right, you are, love. Let's get you inside for your afternoon siesta, shall we? Okay. Kelly, call Eduardo. Tell him we're going to need more of that brandy. Off we go.
H. All right, so what we're going to do, right, we have to make it look like we're very excited. I especially want to be able to do this to follow up from the date video, right? right? I think it'll be really good for our social media presence. You know, we need to have as much positive feedback from social media as possible, especially since you got booed the other day. I know they weren't booing me. So okay, are we ready? Are we ready to do this? I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna come in, right? And we're gonna be very excited. We're all gonna be jumping and screaming like we're very excited. I know, because it makes it so relatable. Are we ready? Are we ready? Everyone take places? Okay, ready? Yay. Yay. I'm very happy.
Bitch, I don't play. I'm petty and I'm known to throw shade. Hating a hoe, please just go. Don't get cute, just walk away. Girl, bye. Please listen. Fuck you.
Wow. Chapter 3. If you've made it this far, I applaud you. I really do. You are someone that wants to know the truth, no matter how bad it is. And this one will be bad. Yes, it will. But we're going to persevere. This is the longest video I've ever made and will ever make. So, we're going to do this. I have a Sam at the end. I have Baby Boy at the end. I have another funny commercial. But before that, we got to get through chapter 3. Andrew sinks to new depths of depravity. A self-entitled monster who thinks the world owes him. And there you go. Would it be a Lara show if we didn't have a typo? Of course.
And the allegations of abuse towards 2 children on his trip to Ukraine. Today we take a look as to when and why he may have been there. With the recent allegations against Prince Andrew regarding a trip he had to Ukraine and the abuse of 2 young children, today we take a look as to when and why he may have been there. Pictured below, you see Britain's Foreign Secretary James Cleverly shaking hands with President Zelensky. This meeting happened at the beginning of June when the supposed allegations towards Prince Andrew were meant to have taken place. Multiple people flew with James Cleverly to Ukraine in the beginning of June. However, it's hard to find exactly who was on board at the time. Now let's move on to why he may have been there. Not sure if you guys are aware, but Ukraine has been a hotspot for human trafficking for around 30 years now. With the first reports coming out in the early 90s, it's been rife ever since, and apparently since the war and the pandemic, it's only gotten worse. Women, children and men are being trafficked all across Ukraine with the promises of work or a better life. A lot of them are exploited for labour and other activities. Allegations against Prince Andrew do line up with the dates that James Cleverly would have been there with his delegation. With all this in mind, the fact that Ukraine is a hotspot for human trafficking, Prince Andrew has a checkered past, and now an eyewitness coming out stating that in a private room he may have abused 2 children. Why are the mainstream media not
And this is MSM putting this out, okay? Britain's Andrew accused of SA during visit to Ukraine. This was September 2nd of 2023. New Delhi. Britain's Andrew is once again facing serious allegations of CA. His relationship with controversies seems to be unending. The fresh allegations against the Prince were made during his visit to Ukraine amid the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. He visited Ukraine in June. What he did was abhorrent, but you'll hear it yourself. I know this is true everywhere, but it just really broke my heart. These kids don't have a chance in hell of getting out of this. So Vasily Brozorov of Ukraine's intelligence agency revealed in August, that's just this August, that the gang that SA's children in Britain is very active in Ukraine. In the name of adopting children from war-torn Ukraine, such gangs are taking children with them. Holy crap. Yeah, they're just moving them around, and yeah, it's a very big business. It's gross to call it that, but it sincerely is that. So that's why I call him Andy the Abhorrent, because I can't think of a better word. And I know nobody wants to believe this of Andrew, but he was served papers. We will never hear about it, of course, but we hear about it, like, not from the royal family, but other ways, right? Britain's former Prince Andrew accused of SA during a visit to the Ukraine. An eyewitness claimed that he saw Andrew misbehaving, a little more than that, with 2 children at a club in Kiev. Andrew has been accused of S-ing 2 children, a 10-year-old boy and a 12-year-old girl, at a nightclub in Kiev, Ukraine earlier this year. A witness said he left the kids in critical condition. Whew. So it said, why is the media not talking about the new Andrew allegations about children in Ukraine? Why? And I said, well, it's easy. That's it, the super injunction that I showed you at the beginning. We now have proof that they exist. And they most assuredly do. So these little kids went through horror. And we don't know where they are today. I suspect they're not with us, to be honest. I'm just being real. All alleged, YouTube. Yeah. But I will put on the full length. I cleaned it up so it's easier to hear. And took out a lot of empty spaces so it's not quite as long. But the interview of the fellow that was there. And I've heard so many people go, oh, a bar, as if kids would be in a bar. He asked the same thing. This is the Ukraine. Things are not the same there as they are here. Trust and believe that. So, here we go.
So one day evening, I was in the VIP lounge as usual, making sure everything was smooth. The club director came up and he warned me that a super VIP guest was coming, so I should make sure everything was very, very accurate. You know, because of my English skills, I'm usually asked to serve special clients when VIP guests from Europe visit the club. About an hour later, some armed men wearing camo came and faced me. And this is something that usually happens ever since the war started in Ukraine. Then I was asked to be taken to a closed part of the club together with the director. He told me that I should be very polite and accommodating to this super VIP that was coming. And trust me, usually I have no idea of who I'm going to serve, but this time around I was able to recognize the guest. It was Prince Andrew from England. And honestly, when I saw him, I was really, really shocked. At first, he wasn't alone. There were some people with him. However, after a couple of hours, the people left and Andrew was the only one left in the room. Thought the whole party was over. Just then, a guy wearing a uniform entered the room with 2 little children. I think their ages, from the way they look, would be about 10 or 11, at most 12 years, but within that range. It was a boy and a girl. Andrew started talking to them, asking their names. The girl introduced herself as Alena and the guy Dimitri. Andrew politely asked me to bring something for the kids, so I quickly rushed to go get some cheesecakes, pancakes, you know, the usual snacks for kids. But While I was doing that, I was still confused. I didn't know what kids will be doing in such a place at such a time. I go back with the staff 5 minutes later and I saw something very, very disturbing. The children stood there in front of Andrew, half naked, and they were sobbing, as if they were forced to do something. He tried comforting them and was calming them down from what I saw. He touched them in inappropriate parts. Bro, that day was terrible. Without saying a word, I just left the food on the table and I was rushing out because I didn't want to see any further. But an hour later, I was called back to that room. The children were almost completely naked. They were behaving in a weird way, as if they were drugged or they were drunk. It was just not normal, the way they were behaving, as compared to when they were initially brought in. The prince was agitated, his eyes were shining in a weird way. He told me to get the kids dressed. 2 guards then came in. One of them gave the prince a nod and they left the room. The other man told me to get the kids dressed. But before then, he was talking to the kids in Ukrainian. I didn't actually understand what he said, but all I could hear was Disneyland and Paris. So probably he was asking them if they would like to go there or something, but I can't really tell. Kids were still acting in a weird way. While I was dressing them up, I just told them that everything would be fine. They should stop crying, but they still kept crying, The boy stuck to me. He was just holding me tight. At that moment, bro, I was so weak emotionally. I nearly cried myself because of the way the kids were acting. But so the uniform guy then told me to follow him with the kids and bring them up to where the helipad was. I came closer and the guy in camo took the children from me and brought them into the helicopter. At that time I saw Andrew and 2 other passengers inside. The guards told me I was free to go, and on my way I heard the helicopter took off. But if you are there to witness the fear in these children's eyes, the way they were acting while I was handing them over, bro, it was heartbreaking. Unlike to you, I've never seen anything like that. Never. Oh man, the next few days was just terrible for me. I was so down emotionally. I really tried to understand what was going on. I really wanted to know, but couldn't fathom anything. And it was a bad experience to be a part of. I didn't just understand what the children went through that day and what they would be going through at the moment and what I could have done, because I was there. Oh man, this experience is something I don't wish for anyone to witness, because I'm still traumatized by this. Anytime I see kids with adults at the same moment crying, bro, it just brings back memories, So back in Ukraine, I just packed my stuff and left for Nigeria. I even think it was even a bigger mistake. I shouldn't have left. I should have told someone about it, or I should have told the police, but because it's someone of importance, usually it just becomes a useless case, or even the press. But with these things, that's my experience, bro. And I should have done something. I know deep in my heart I should have done something. Not even caring what the consequences might be, but that's the story, man. I relive it every day. Crazy.
What I hate most is that this asshole, and that is the least I can call him, is whining and crying and having a fit because he can't live like the prince he thinks he should be. Although he's got millions in the bank and everything. And he could care less. He doesn't give one thought to those children. I guarantee that. All I can say is I have done this before this interview, and I had people leave me and tell me they didn't believe it and it didn't make sense and blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm just going to say this. If someone doesn't want to believe it, that's fine. But I don't want to see it in my comments because I do believe it. I know he's a sick, disturbed individual. And I want people to know he deserves everything he gets and more. And it doesn't even have to do with JE and VG. Although I'm sure there's going to be lots coming out. This is more than enough for me. I have never done a show like this, and I never will again. This took every ounce of my being to make this. And I had to do it a few times over. I cried. Yes, I'm emotional. But, it has to be said. It just does. So I have one other little thing that I think will make you happy. And then, we'll finish up. That's Nygard's place now. In flames. Torched. His neighbor was the reason everything came out, because Nygard was dredging and wrecking the sea and all of that, and he wanted more land, and his very wealthy neighbor was having none of it. So he sued him, and then everything came out. He knew what was going on, and then the fellow that I had shown you previously that recorded him, his little videographer, he went to his neighbor. He went to Nygard's neighbor. And he was smart and said, give me whatever and I'll give you the tapes of all of this. Because Nygard tried for 5 years to keep those out of mainstream. Anyway, needless to say, he won. And then his neighbor just torched it to the ground. So yay. Yay for that. I just have to say, yay for that. All right, my friends. I've had a very rough go lately. For those of you that have remained to support me, again, never any words. I just don't know what to say. You're phenomenal people. My Patreons, you're my heart. You really are. And, yeah. I will be back. I always am. But never with a long one like this again. No, and I want to get back to more funny things. This one wasn't quite that, but I will. All right. I'm going to sign off. I'm going to put Baby Boy on. I have Sam, so we'll giggle with him. And another fun commercial I hope you'll enjoy. Yeah. And then I will bid adieu. So, oh yes, I do have one thing. I'll finish off with it. That's what I'll do. So, I will see you at Sam. All right. Love y'all. Bye. I wanted to read this out because it kind of summarizes the whole show in a weird way. The real awakening is realizing it was never the quiet part being said out loud. It was always the loud part. It was always in your face. We have been conditioned to see one thing, but to think it's another thing. Nothing is what it seems, because we've been taught that everything isn't what it is. There you go.
Much has happened since our last interview. We don't make it to the UK much anymore. Yes, too busy dreaming up and recording these Netflix series. Megan with Love will be returning. Yes, I cancelled my Netflix subscription yesterday. What I really want to know is, how is the reconciliation going with your father, Prince Charles? Well, depending how you look at it, I think the fair assessment would be not great. I think there's been a lot of jealousy of Harry. ever since Megxit. You know, I don't think they can stand to see him flourishing, right? He's happy, he's content, you know, he's finally found his place in the world. And he knows that. Which could be simplified as Harry now knows his place. Hey, I'm no math whiz, but yeah, I guess you could probably say that, you know? He's been supportive and patient, and he's done what only the very best husbands do, and that's put my interests ahead of his own. And I've always found that to be such an endearing quality. There is hope of a resolution with Papa, because the three of us have, you know, one thing in common. You know, we have one aim that unites us, and that's fixing mental health around the world. Yes, I've heard. I mean, the irony. Sorry, where's the irony? I don't even get what irony is, which is ironic in itself. Well, the irony is in the coalition of privileged and out-of-touch individuals with no proximity to the issues faced by regular people, interfering from above and enforcing their solutions and sound bites onto an already unhappy world. Yeah, and about that, we're going for a two-pronged approach, right? So firstly, we're going to try and get people to open up, you know, open up what's inside of them and really start vocalizing that inner voice incessantly, right? You know, saying to themselves, yeah, it's okay, I can cry, right? You know, get in touch with that inner child and say, yeah, I can cry, and I can insist, I can demand that people change their language and all of their actions and their behaviors to cater for my particulars, for the particulars of my mental health dilemma. Right, so stage one would be validating everybody's neurosis by demanding that the world change to suit their fluctuating emotions and worldview. But what if two or more demands of individuals infringe on each other? What do you do then? Oh yeah, but nobody said that fixing mental health around the world was going to be easy, Dr. Jackson. And stage two of the two-pronged approach is to lobby governments so they can fund, through taxpayer money, a serious, aggressive arsenal of medications that we can really bombard those, you know, psychological problems with. Because sometimes there's no emotional cure to a pharmacological problem. I'm impressed. What, at my two-pronged approach? No, with Harry saying pharmacological. We need strong medication, okay, administered from an earlier and earlier age, before the mental health crisis itself becomes a fire that we can never put out. And your solution is to create a culture of drugged up, neurotic crybabies. Ironic, isn't it?
I've never interviewed a pervert before. Wait, I take that back. I did. And his son. What am I talking about? Anyway, why were you besties with a sex worker?
It would be a considerable stretch to say that he was a very, very close friend.
But you'd go stay at his private island?
If he wasn't there, he would say, well, why don't you come and use my houses? So I said, that's very kind. Thank you very much indeed.
Very kind, yes. How often would you go? Did you have like an Epstein Island rewards card, or?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And I definitely did not visit his Palm Beach house 3 or 4 times a year.
There's a Palm Beach house too?
No.
Prince Andrew, Duke of York. Now, do you prefer I call you Prince Pedo?
Oh, no. Funny enough, I don't.
No?
No.
Okay, not a nickname guy. I'll be honest, I had to Google you, and it appears things are going pear-shaped for you. People don't forget perverts. Just ask Pee Wee Herman. So, why would a perv ball such as yourself...
I'm sorry, why would...
Sorry, so why would you want to vacation at a convicted sex on the other side of the world?
It was a convenient place to stay.
Yes, that sounds convenient. You know where else is a convenient place to stay? Hilton, Marriott, Doubletree.
But it was usually because I was going through and on somewhere else. So it was a day. That was it.
My layovers are usually like Atlanta or Dallas, and nobody is naked.
At the time, there was no indication to me or anybody else that that was what he was doing. There was no indication, absolutely no indication.
Yeah, I feel like the kids running around in lingerie should have set off some alarms, but I bet you didn't see them on your quick layover through Pedo Island, huh?
Absolutely not.
All right, so let me get this straight. You were friends with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes.
He was found guilty of trafficking.
Yes.
You'd fly across the world to stay where this trafficking was happening.
Yes.
You are completely innocent.
Yes.
All right. If I was friends with Colonel Sanders and he had restaurants known for their chicken and I traveled the world visiting them, you'd assume I like chicken. So you can see where people might make assumptions.
But I didn't have much time with him. I suppose I saw him once or twice a year, perhaps maybe maximum of 3 times a year.
Why is that? Is it quite the quiz? The kids?
Well, that bit I can't help you with because I've no idea.
Faux show. Why don't you enlighten me on this photo of you and this Virginia girl?
I don't remember that photograph ever being taken.
Oh, okay. But you've met this girl, yes?
I don't know if I've met her. But no, I have no recollection of meeting her.
All right. So all the things that she said that has happened between the two of y'all...
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen. And you are 100% certain, not a doubt in your mind.
I can absolutely categorically tell you it never happened.
Perfect. Then it would behoove you to prove it's not you in that photograph with an underage girl.
Oh, it's definitely me. I mean, that's a picture of me.
Fuck off!
Oh, ticka ticka. Ticka 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 Yeah. Oh, love it. Oh, love it, love it, love it. Love it. Good night.